A picture we can't even show. A male body part. The next picture is, then you send a picture of your body part.
We had sex at the hospital that same night. And then—
In the hospital?
We're sleeping together the entire time. While I'm on in the shower every night, every day, 3 times a day, lunch,
We was
breakfast,
only
and dinner,
together
and I
for
was
2
the
weeks.
third.
What are you talking? We was together for 2 weeks, bro.
7 days to get pregnant, baby.
Well,
Ms. Coward, you claim you're here today to determine the paternity of your 9-month-old son in an effort to save your relationship with his alleged father, Mr. James.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. James, you say Ms. Coward has cheated on you in the past, and you argue you not only have good reason to doubt paternity, but say you can no longer trust her at all.
Yes, Your Honor.
It all started with Mr. James seeing Miss Coward around the same apartment complex that they both live in. He even sent some of his friends over to get her number, but none of that worked. But this happened.
To get her number, to see if she was interested in me, anything of that nature. None of that worked. And then one day I just so happened to see her at the bus stop, getting off of work, gave her a ride home. I'm a mobile mechanic myself, so I gave her my business card and, told her to give me a call if she get free. She wanted to have dinner or something of that nature. Well, of course, she never called, and I was, I felt a little bad about it.
Yeah, we really thought that must have worked.
But the chance rose another time later when a fight had broke out in the complex, and we both just so happened was there watching. And I took my child again and asked her whether or not, she would like to have a drink with me. She implied that she wanted to, she did, and that's how the relationship basically started.
That took a lot of time. It started off as a sexual relationship and then turned into a committed relationship. What's really surprising is that after a point, Mr. James realized that she must be pregnant.
How did you know?
Well, I have evidence that I keep on a calendar basically about her cycle. And from what I've done, so I know basically when I can and when I cannot, be intimate with her.
That's thoroughly planned out. And if you thought that's weird, you've got to hear what happened next.
So, Mr. James, how long have you been keeping a calendar like this?
Since I've been about 25, 26 years old.
25 or 26?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you now?
I'm 42.
Oh.
That's insane. Who does that? And listen to the rationale behind that.
Wow.
Sexual
so you
transmitted
have in your calendar the dates you were intimate with women?
Yes, ma'am, I
and
do.
also a record of their monthly cycles?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Wow.
At one point in my life, I was a womanizer. So if this woman was on her cycle, I can go to this woman versus this woman.
Oh.
Let's now see the evidence.
You have here, all right, Friday, December 28th, 2012.
That's
you
when
have
she actually
an
came
abbreviation, meaning that the monthly cycle began.
Yes, ma'am.
And then on Wednesday, January 2nd, you have it marked where it ended.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And so how did your calendar play a role once you found out she was pregnant? Is this what made you doubtful as you went back through your notes?
Well,
You
not
noticed
only,
there were some issues?
Yes, there's a lot of issues. Considering the first time that we went to the actual doctor, they gave her one due date. They gave her another one on another day. So there was 2 different due dates. Neither one of them coincide with the days when I actually was intimate with her, nor with that.
That's weird. She says they had sex on January 4th, and that falls during the window of conception. But wait, listen to some of his bizarre beliefs.
Like I said before, his religious beliefs, women are not supposed to interact with other men. So he feels like me talking to other men, me saying hi, me
Hugging other
interacting
men in
with a
front
man,
of my
period,
face, taking
is
pictures.
disrespectful to him. He just feels like it's disrespectful.
So these men where you have the pictures, are they men that you were interested in?
We've had enough now. Let's see the results now.
Mr. James, you are the father.
Thank you. I told you.
Maybe they should start with earning each other's trust.
Miss Sales, you claim that you and the defendant, Mr. Jackson, were in a serious relationship and it was his idea to have a baby. But now that your 3-year-old daughter, Micaiah, is here, he denies being her father. You want him to step up and take care of his daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jackson, you claim that Miss Sales is a former side chick who is trying to pin a baby on you only because she wants you back in her life. You are certain you are not her daughter's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
These two were in a relationship for 5 years. To quote Mr. Jackson, she was his side woman, and he feels the child isn't his because she's light-skinned with gray eyes. And here comes more.
Prevents you from becoming a father.
Yes, but I wasn't the only man that was smashing.
He's lying. He was the only person that I was messing with, the only person I had been with for a year before I even got pregnant. So again, he's lying.
There's some real issue with his way of conveying. Let's hear the whole story.
When I first met him, I had moved out of town, so we had, lost contact. That's when he met his ex and they got in a relationship. When I moved back in town, he never let me know about this relationship he had. I found out because a friend of mine told me that he had a girl. He never said anything to me about it.
And a month later, she found out that Miss Sales is pregnant.
So you went to the hospital for something else?
Yes, ma'am.
I went to the doctor because
2
I
months
had
later.
a cyst ruptured in my stomach, so I had to go to the hospital because I was very sick. He went with me, but he was my side piece, right? But he took me and went with me to the hospital. So I was getting a lot of tests ran and things done to me. They was telling me no, I wasn't pregnant at the time because I had polyps. So the nurse explained that it was really hard for me to get pregnant and my chances was very slim. But at the time, I had already gotten off of birth control and was trying to have a baby with him.
And what happened next is gonna blow your mind.
We had sex at the hospital that same night. And then—
In the hospital?
And then—
While you were there for the polyps?
Yeah, so after they, got me together and got my body together, yeah, believe me, it wasn't that.
Negative, Your Honor.
All this happened in August, and in October, she found out she's 6 weeks pregnant. But why is he so convinced that he's not the father?
Your Honor, one day I was over my family member house doing some work with him, and a friend of us called and said that they seen her in a car with some light-skinned guy with dreads and said this who she been seeing. It's a possibility could be her baby daddy or anything like that. This was told to me.
That's a lie.
Yes, and a lot of people that called and told me that she was riding around with this cat.
Oh, people have seen her in the car riding around with
yes,
this guy.
Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. True story.
That's not all. He's also read messages on her phone about paternity, but here's what she has to say over it.
A random person he found on my messenger that I guess had said, "What's up, sexy? Hey, baby." One of the extra 100 guys that do that too, and he picked that one out because he was light-skinned.
Oh, so you're saying he concocted the cheating story after Micaiah was born?
Yeah.
Based upon her skin color?
Yes.
Timeline doesn't
He
add
is
up.
lying, but all right.
Let's just see the results now.
Mr. Jackson, you are the father.
Now I know who my baby daddy is.
That was the most predictable result ever.
Ms. Foster, you claim you and your ex-boyfriend planned your pregnancy only to have him abandon you and deny paternity. You are here to prove that he is your daughter, Jakaia's biological father. You want him to step up and take care of his daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jackson, you say Ms. Foster cheated on you multiple times during your relationship, and there is no way you are Jakaia's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
This relationship started through social media. And here's what happened next.
No wonder we're talking about social media. Okay, go ahead.
We found each other through social media, so we had a mutual friend. They vouched for him, said he was a good person, so we jumped into a relationship. I had my first child, and he did come bring us to his mother's house, but he was claiming my first child knowing she wasn't his baby, but then when we planned a baby, he doesn't deny this child at all.
Wait. I want to understand this.
That's super weird, but wait until you hear this.
The man that she had dropping her off at my house, claiming was her brother, was the dude she was sleeping with.
Correct, Your Honor. It definitely was.
Basically what the story was, she already came to my house pregnant by her so-called brother, you feel me? And it was like, I mentioned it to her, you feel me? She told me she used me for a place to
I
stay.
can't come nowhere pregnant
all
if
types
I
of
just had a
stuff.
baby and it's January and I wasn't pregnant.
So wait, you're
So why
in
you
this
ain't call me
relation.
during
That's super disgusting and confusing to say the least. And Mr. Jackson also had another girlfriend this whole time. And when she was pregnant, the other man was there with her because Mr. Jackson had left. He was out of town, possibly for his other girlfriend. So why does she feel Mr. Jackson is the father?
Why are you just bringing Mr. Jackson to court?
I went to the doctor's office, they gave me the conception calendar. I got pregnant February 21st. That's the same day you left. So that week and that week before, I had a menstrual period. We're sleeping together the entire time. While I'm on in the shower every night, every day, 3 times a day, lunch,
We was
breakfast,
only
and dinner,
together
and
for
I was
2
the
weeks.
third.
What are you talking? We
2
was
weeks
together
is
for 2 weeks, bro.
7 days to get pregnant, baby.
Well,
You not shooting blanks, you
I'm
shooting.
not the only one that's shooting. Huh?
Okay, so
Right,
my
alright,
conception day said February 21st is when you were fertilized. You were still there.
And the child is 15 months old.
The baby around my new girl.
Basically.
So we haven't been able to establish
Basically,
a
they
relationship.
on the phone, best friends. Then the next day,
So
she
you
on the
have
bathroom.
never seen this baby in person
No,
in your life?
no,
Never hugged her, never, nothing.
nothing. Not yet. Nothing.
15 months? This is the part that drives me crazy. Everybody know how to meet halfway to make a baby, but don't nobody know how to meet halfway to come see the baby and establish a relationship with a parent.
None of my family know about the baby.
That's just really sad and unfair for the baby. So is Mr. Jackson the father?
Mr. Jackson, you are not the father.
We did not see that coming. Let's hope the child gets a real father.
Ms. Davis, you claim you got pregnant with Mr. Ham's child after knowing him for only 2 months. You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Ham is the father of your 1-month-old baby, Jarrell Ham Jr. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're suing him for $1,500 for the cost of the baby shower gifts that you say Mr. Ham took from you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Ham, you say Ms. Davis was dating 2 other men, and you are certain that you are not the father of her child.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's how it all began.
I was in my car, just came from getting a haircut. I was looking good in my car. Me and Brandy has the same exact car, just different colors. She was looking pretty, too, I'm not gonna lie. She looking pretty in traffic. She flagged me down to stop me so we can switch numbers. When we switched numbers, we started talking on the phone within those same exact hours. So during that time, we agreed to meet up. When I'm thinking we meeting up, I'm thinking it's just gonna be me and Brandy. When I pull up to the lake after we agreed, that's where we agreed to go to the lake. When I pull up at the lake, she got a whole crowd of people surrounding her car. So as I get closer, Miss Davis then comes and approaches my car. We start having a conversation. As me and Miss Davis having a conversation, one of her female friends comes up to the car and say, well, your boyfriend is getting upset due to the fact that you over here disrespecting him by talking to another man.
Did you remember someone coming up to you and saying
No,
your boyfriend
nobody
was
came
mad?
up to me. Nobody came up to me because it wasn't my boyfriend.
Did you have a boyfriend at the
Yes,
time?
I did have a boyfriend at the time. I
You did.
Wow, Miss Davis denies that this did not happen, but she did have a boyfriend around the time. But here's more.
That was just the first boy. That was the
That
first
was my
boy.
boyfriend.
Second boyfriend.
That was my
That's
first
the second
boyfriend.
So it's
Nah.
your testimony, Mr. Ham, she had more than one boyfriend.
Yes, Your Honor, and she's married too, and she's still technically married now. She's not the
Yes,
person, she's still
true,
technically married.
true,
And she had 2 boyfriends
true.
too. So this is why I'm in a point where, okay, this can't really be my child due to the fact that she had all these boyfriends, and then at the end of the day, I come found she's married too. So I don't know what to believe.
We can't really blame Mr. Ham for having his doubts.
You're saying, Mr. Ham, that in front of your family members, she says
I did not
That
say that.
I was not the father of that
I said
child.
it to him in an argument.
It was getting heated, and it's to the point she was like, you know what? I'm just be honest. This ain't even your child, so you ain't got to worry about being here in this child. You ain't got to worry about doing
No,
that.
I didn't say it like that.
So I said,
I didn't say it
so
like
that's,
that.
That's
I didn't
what
say it like that.
That's
Stop
when I
lying.
completely snapped, because at the
Stop
same
lying.
time,
That's just a super unhealthy relationship. And she then admits that she was also sleeping with her boyfriend, but that wasn't around the window of conception.
Ms. Davis, you're saying you were still sleeping with your boyfriend in July.
Yeah, yes, in the beginning.
And then you started sleeping with Mr. Ham in August or late July.
no,
We been
beginning of
started-
July.
we
Beginning
been-
of July.
We had sex, the first time we had sex was the second day we met, and we was having sex on and on every day.
And then but you were also having sex with your boyfriend
Yeah.
during
Yes.
that time.
And her
And I
other
stopped in
boyfriend,
July.
too.
He broke up with me in July.
So now you say Jarrell was born early.
He was born in May. I conceived him at the end of August. and I was not
And
next
that
to my
was
boyfriend.
earlier than anticipated?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
And so that is what adds to your doubt.
That put red lights, red beams, everything off in my head. I was in a 50-50 situation.
He feels the child was born too early. They also had a baby shower where Mr. Ham kept all the gifts to himself.
Baby shower, the stroller, car seat, clothes, shoes, diapers, milk.
It's
and I didn't get nothing.
So these are the gifts that were presented that day?
Yes,
and even more than that?
Yes.
So ultimately, Mr. Ham, you do acknowledge that your family came through a baby shower, gave gifts to the baby, but because you say you weren't certain whether or not the child was yours, you decided not to give the gifts to her, to the baby.
Here comes an important question.
I often ask in this courtroom, do you feel like the baby resembles you?
No, I do not.
You don't?
No, I do not. It's quite a few guys who I might think about, because all the guys she messed with is light skinned except this one guy, he's dark skinned. And like I said, the baby is light skinned. So the dark skinned guy, he out the picture, but at the same time, she was still messing with him during the same time she was messing with me. So it's kind of hard to put him out the picture too. And then I see the baby's starting to get darker too. Because he was so light when he first came out, they had to put him on the light.
Let's now see the results.
Mr. Ham, you are Jarrell's father.
Like I said, I don't have no problem with stepping up, but at the same time, I can't be in this child's life if she's trying to control me with this child.
Hopefully these two work things out.
Miss Thomas, you and the defendant, Mr. McKee, met on an online dating website, and the conversation quickly jumped offline and into Mr. McKee's bed. You believed you were in a committed relationship with the defendant and was devastated when he denied your pregnancy. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
But McKee thinks that's not his child just by the looks. But why the suspicion at all?
First of all, we met on a dating website, as you spoke. We started off talking, and then once we started knowing each other, who we were,
How long did you talk on the phone?
Maybe about a month or two.
Okay.
And then I started going to see him, maybe like a 45-minute drive from where I live, like every other day.
Wow, this is moving at a fast pace. All she wanted was commitment, but he was running away from it. But there were more secrets to be unveiled.
You know, the man is committed and faithful, and the woman is. Did you know Miss Thomas wanted to be in a relationship with you?
Not really, Your Honor, but...
Did you all ever discuss being in a relationship?
No, ma'am.
Oh, you didn't?
No, ma'am.
All he liked was her online persona. Now we all know how deceptive that can be. But Miss Thomas was putting a lot of effort.
So about a month you would drive to go see him?
Like every other day I drive, like at nighttime I put my kids to bed, I go see him until it's time for them to go to school. I wake up and be back home before my kids wake. So I have an older child, so she'll be home with them, but I didn't do it every day.
And just when you think things would die down, she found out that she was pregnant.
He was like, what is this? I was like, a pregnancy test. He said, I don't know how to read these, so tell me what that means. I say, I'm pregnant. He's like, oh, okay, so whatever you decide to do, just let me know.
But do you know what he did after finding out? You have to listen to this.
When you found out she was pregnant, what were you thinking, sir?
Well, she called me when she was like 3 months pregnant. I know I got a phone call, I was at work, and I told her I'd call her back, but I ended up blocking her number.
What?
He blocked it after we had that conversation. After we had that
Really?
conversation,
After I blocked the number, she had the baby and called me from another number.
After this, she tried to reach him out, but to no avail.
So, hold on, Mr. McKee, you never heard from Miss Thomas again during the whole pregnancy?
I haven't heard from her, Your Honor.
All while she was pregnant?
All while she was pregnant.
So you weren't there when the baby was born?
No, Your Honor.
So what happened then really?
and I told him I just had my baby. He still couldn't like really believe me. He was like, send me some pictures. He was at work then. He was like, send me some pictures. So I sent him some pictures. And he's like, that's my baby. Are you sure that's my baby? Then he looked at the color of it, like why he's the color he is.
But then came an even bigger shocking revelation.
Like, this not my baby, Your Honor. Damn, this baby make number 8 right here. Like,
Number eight for who? You or her?
For me.
For her.
I have 8. That'd be number 8.
So,
Number 8.
So I'm kind of confused.
Whoa.
But it looks like he knew only the half-truth. He knew she was a mother, but not to how many kids.
This little boy make 8.
Yeah.
So So, Mr. McKee, she sent you a text with the picture of the baby. Your first response was what?
The baby look like he can be for Donald Trump.
But here's what happens next.
You feel like because she has more than one child, that she potentially was entertaining a lot of different men.
Right. That's what
And
he's
so
trying to
it's
say.
not just you she was sleeping with. Is that what you're trying to say?
1 month.
Oh, now I get what you're saying. Okay, could you just talk? Trying to, feel like I'm trying to,
And from there, everything was a downward spiral.
But when we
Online
first started
date.
off, we was using protection. And he knew that, and he wanted to, without it. I was like, no, I'm fertile. I just had a baby a year or two ago. So I'm fertile, so I can't. So this particular time, we didn't have anything, so.
I get it. You don't have to go any further.
But Miss Thomas had to go through the turmoil alone. And listen to this, Judge Lauren said.
If that's your biological child, then what? You
right,
missed
John.
the entire beginning of his life.
But what if he's not mine, Your Honor?
And what if he is not?
I apologize if it's not, but I'm 100% sure.
McKee was then asked if he has any children.
I have a daughter.
You do. And so this would be your first son.
I have 2 more on the way.
You have 2 more kids on the way right now?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
2 more? It looks like this case is getting more interesting by the minute.
So you have twins on the way.
No, not twin, but 2 different women.
You talk about me, though.
I just asked, were you having a baby with your girlfriend? They're both your girlfriend?
It's like 2 sisters.
Wait a minute.
Right.
Did you just say you have 2 sisters pregnant in the same family?
What? Does that mean he's having 2 kids just a month apart? Well, let's see the results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. McKee, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
He is not the father, Miss Thomas.
But does she even know who the father is?
Do you know who Carson's father is?
Yes. Like my ex before I met him.
Did you know that and just want it to be Mr. McKee's?
No, I didn't think of it at all. It was a time space in between.
Honestly, for Carson's sake, I'm glad we got down to the bottom of this. Ms. White, you've opened your case because your last and only way to save your marriage and family is to prove to your husband that he fathered your 3-year-old daughter, Savannah.
Yes, Your Honor.
You admit you've cheated in the past, but hope once the results are revealed, your husband will trust you again. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. White believes that he's not the biological father to their 3rd child.
To have physical proof your wife broke her vows, and as much as you love Savannah, you do not believe you're her biological father and are prepared to divorce your wife when the test proves your case. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I just can't be with somebody that's gonna constantly cheat on me and have me raise somebody else's child.
And you love this little girl.
Yes, I love her to death. Yep, just the other day she was at my mother's and she woke up and she asked, "Where's Daddy?"
It's just eating away at you. I can see that.
The ex-boyfriend come home while he was at work. That's not a good idea.
I had the suspicions she was having an ex-boyfriend come over while I was at work. Because I had neighbors tell me he was coming over, and then I started doing the snooping on Facebook, seeing where his location was, looking through her phone. And then we got into an argument one night, and then he showed up, and that's when I knew there was something happening, because why would you call him if we're arguing?
Who does that? But this is what she had to say in her defense.
Ms. White, have you been cheating?
Yes, but I have like abandonment issues because I was adopted. So like if he's not showing me the love and affection that I need, and I mean, I'm not trying to like make excuses for myself because I admit what I've done is wrong, but I just want him to like show me love and affection and be there for me and like hold my hand in public and just be there.
But infidelity is infidelity. There's no second thought about it. But let's now dive into their marriage.
Tell me about when you got married. Take me back to that time.
I moved in with them after a month of being together, and then probably 8 months later, I ended up getting pregnant with our first child. We ended up getting married, and everything just happened so quickly at 19 years old, so.
but almost immediately she had to start cheating. But wait till you hear this shocking truth.
Mr. White, when did you find this out?
I didn't find out for sure until she immediately told me when Savannah was 6 months old that there was a 50-50 chance that Savannah wasn't mine.
Whoa, so much for being confident that the child is his.
And how did you get to a place where you decide you're gonna tell him, Miss White?
We got into an argument and we ended up splitting up, and I was over at my mom's house, and he said the only way I could come back into the house is if I was to admit everything and just be honest.
And he let you back home after that?
Yes, Your Honor.
But he took her back.
Take me to that day. I can't imagine.
I was hurt and I was pissed off, and at the same time, it was kind of a relief because I knew for a fact that it was actually happening. It wasn't just, oh, it's an assumption, I don't know for a fact. But I think more than anything that I was more hurt because I done got attached to her. 6 months old, was there for the whole 9 months. I was the one that cut the umbilical cord. I watched her come out. I've been there for all my kids. I work 7 days a week. I work Monday through Friday doing my main job. Saturday and Sunday I'm doing odd jobs to provide for my kids because I want them to have a better life than I did.
He wanted the same family for his kids. However, he found out something more.
I have text messages proof right here of the most recent is Valentine's Day. She went to another man's house while I'm sitting at the house with the kids.
Well, that's because you didn't even get me anything, and you were just yelling at me. You were treating me like crap and was gonna go to a friend's house, so.
Well, that's not a good reason to cheat, but let's see the evidence now.
Ms. White says, my body's naked, wishing you was in this bed with me. The ex-boyfriend texts back, LOL, you are crazy, about to call you in a minute. Your wife says, LMAO, could you do that for me?
Is that a reason to hook up? But wait, let's look at this text message.
Mr. White, you submitted another text message? Oh, this is another guy. This is not the ex-boyfriend's name. He says, laying here horny, and you say, Ms. White, I know, me too. And then you forgot the other O on two. That's okay. Then he writes back, you get your license this week, we meet this weekend.
Oh, hold on, there's one more text message.
Ms. White says, you can bring me some cigs, LOL, Al's a blank. And give me a Valentine's Day treat, cause Al not gonna do blank. Ex-boyfriend responds, LOL, you are a nut. I'll give you a call when I get a chance, here in a little bit.
As usual, her response to cheating is not getting enough. Coming back to the kids.
How many children do you have?
We have 3 and 1 on the way.
And all of this is the reason why you've stayed.
Yep, it's my children because I love them so much and they need a mother and father. They don't just need one of us.
And that's not all, actually. He's got pictures of his wife sexting people. Take a look.
A picture we can't even show. A male body part. And I assume, Mr. White, since you handed this up to the court, this is not your body part.
No.
This is what you found in her phone.
Yes, this is the gentleman that she went to his house on Valentine's Day.
She's clearly not big on honesty. Let's see the next picture.
The next picture is, then you send a picture of your body part, but y'all just talking. Come on now, Miss White, come on. You're lying, and we know this.
Mr. White is clearly helpless.
I just love her. She has what you would call, she aspirates. So when she drinks, she has to have it thickened, or half of it will go into her lungs and she'll get pneumonia. Been there through that, been there through everything that she's had to go through. She's had more difficulties than my other children. I just love her. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have my kids.
Poor guy. But that's not all here. Here's what she did when he tried to leave her.
But she won't let me leave. I've literally tried to physically leave, and she has stood in front of the car to where I couldn't leave, or she says, I'm gonna call the cops and tell them you hit me.
What?
Too much manipulation, right? Coming to yet another important question.
Is there any chance at all that this child you're carrying is not your husband's?
No, it's 100% his.
Do you believe that, Mr. White?
No, because she just caught herself up in a lie because she just told us that she didn't sleep with him, but she just admitted to cheating in February.
After this, she finally admits that she in fact did sleep with another guy in February. But here's what he has to say over it.
If Savannah comes back just being the only one that's not mine, I have the decision to sit there and either try to make it work with her or to call it quits. But if more than one comes back not mine, there is no working on it. It is over.
And finally, it's time for the results.
Mr. White, you are her father.
In the end, it all worked out.
And this last result was a prenatal test for your unborn child. But this court is pleased to say, Mr. White, you are the child's biological father.
Thank you.